Assalamu alaikum. We will talk about Syrian conflict and we will discuss whether Bashar al Assad can manage to survive this time because in 2014, the specter of his elimination appeared to be very real. But then Russia intervened, the Shiite militia from Iraq and Hezbollah and Shiite from all over the world supported Bashar al Assad and he somehow managed to survive. But the question is that can he survive this time? Because this attack of the opposition has taken place at a time when Russia is already, uh, immersed in the Ukrainian conflict, and it is really facing problem there. Then there is problem in Georgia as well. In Georgia, a pro-Russian politician has won the election, but the opposition parties have been blaming the government for rigging in these elections. So there are claims of rigging, and protests have already erupted there. And Russia, it seems that if Russia tries to divert its attention towards Syria, then it will have to face problem at home front. It will have to face problem in the area which are considered in the areas which are considered under its sphere of influence. So it is already sort of has got bogged down in Ukraine, and it is also facing problem in Georgia. So that's a big problem. So it has to be seen whether Russia can intervene or not. On the other hand, Hayat Tahrir al Sham, although Jolani, their leader, was affiliated with Al Qaeda in the past. There are reports suggesting that he has somehow moderated his attitude towards especially minorities and opponents, and his troops have already captured some of the territories or areas where there's a significant presence of Christian and other non Sunni groups. And his groups or his fighters have already held out assurances to them that their rights would not be violated, and that they would be provided protection. And then we have to make a distinction between uh, Hayat Tahrir al Sham and Daesh. Daesh was rabidly anti Shiite and anti Alawite, and it was a very fanatical group. So is Hayat Tahrir al Sham. But Daesh or Islamic State for Lebanon and Sham um was considered more fanatical than Hayat Tahrir al Sham, and especially this time, it claims to be very moderate. It has already issued cards to the policemen or to the soldiers who are reportedly defecting and surrendering and coming to police station or coming to the camps that the troops of Hayat Tahrir al Sham has already established in the areas that they have captured so far. So, uh, Shiite in the past, especially Hezbollah, Shiite groups from Iraq, and Shiite from all over the world supported Bashar al Assad in 2014 and 15 because Islamic State had threatened to bomb or destroy shrines of the holy personalities, which are very important for Shiite all over the world. So they considered it their duty to protect those shrines, especially that of Hazrat Zainab and other people. And this time, if Hayat Tahrir al Sham holds out an assurance to the Shiite living all over the world and the Shiite living in Syria, Iraq, and other parts of the world that these shrines will be protected, and they would not be desecrated, they would not be bombed, or they would not be destroyed. So there is a strong possibility that they may not be as enthusiastic uh, in defending Bashar al Assad as they were in the past. Then these groups and countries are facing their are facing the problems of their own. For instance, Iran is already grappling with the effects of attack on the Hamas and Lebanon. Um, you know, several members of Hezbollah, very important figures, have already been decimated. Thousands of people in Lebanon have already lost their lives. There has been massive destruction of infrastructure in Lebanon as well. The infrastructure of Hezbollah has also been damaged. So Hezbollah is not as strong as it was in 2014. Although the newly appointed Hezbollah leader has vowed to support Bashar al Assad, he has not made any statement indicating that he might extend physical assistance as well or military assistance as well. So that has to be seen. Similarly, Iraqi Shiite and Iraqi government in Baghdad has already seen that this is a complicated situation, and they have already seen what Israel did in Lebanon, and they might be apprehensive that if they intervene this time, Israel might find an excuse to somehow disturb Iraqi government in Baghdad. So they might also be reluctant, especially if Hayat Tahrir al Sham decides not to destroy or not to harm or not to damage shrines of Shiite holy personalities. Then these Shiite may not have any religious justification to support Bashar al Assad. So that's very important. So it means that Bashar al Assad is in a very weak position because the Syrian government or the Syrian troops may not be as enthusiastic for fighting these fanatical elements or so-called fanatical elements, and as maybe Shiite groups. Uh, but if Hayat Tahrir al Sham decides not to attack holy personalities or the shrines of holy personalities of the Shiite, then maybe these religious Shiite group may not find any justification to throw their support behind Bashar al-Assad. Then Syria is also facing economic crisis, and because of sanctions on Iran, because of sanctions on Russia, the two countries are also not in a position to extend any financial support. And if more sanctions are imposed on Syria, um, it will be difficult for the government in Damascus to even pay the salaries of the government employees and especially soldiers. And then soldiers will not have any motivation to defend the country, and reported defections indicate that they are not as enthusiastic in fighting these rebel groups as they were in 2014. So, if Russia does not carry out effective military strikes, if does not extend financial support to Bashar al Assad, if Iran does not play a crucial role, an effective role, if Hezbollah does not come to rescue Bashar al Assad, if Shiite groups in Iraq and Shiite from all over the world do not come to help Bashar al Assad, it seems this time the dictator may not be able to survive. And there are already rumors that he is not in Damascus, but in war, the first casualty of war is truth. So we should take all these news coming from Damascus and other riddled region, ridden region with a pinch of salt. But apparently, it seems that this time survival of Bashar al Assad is difficult.